this opening ceremony to open up the Niverville to the Nations Ministry Center. And I'm going to just share a brief introduction before we call on the Honorable Vic Taves. He has to leave us a bit early, so I'm going to have him come up first. And we have a mixture of both native and non-native people here today. And so that's why sometimes to hear from the different spheres, to give everyone a voice, we want people to be heard and to connect and to get to know one another so that we can work together to build a better community, a better province, and a better nation. I believe together we can make a difference. So, yeah, I believe as we look around and we see the trees just beginning to blossom and budging forth with new life, that there's also something beginning to blossom in our community of Niverville, something that is springing into life right in the very center of our community, what we're calling the Niverville to the Nations Ministry Center. What you may ask is the Niverville to the Nations Ministry Center. This term does not refer to any one organization or sphere of ministry, but to a consortium of 3 ministries, all of which are based here in Niverville, who have a heart for the community and who also have a heart to reach out to the First Nations here in Manitoba and in Canada, and as well as to other Indigenous nations of the world. The Rising Above Ministries is actually a counseling agency that also organizes conferences and seminars throughout the nation with a particular focus of reaching out to those who have been traumatized by sexual abuse and who have suffered other emotional wounds. Canada Awakening Ministries, which is the ministry of which I am a part, both of us will have our offices in this building complex in 100 Main Street. Our office on this side has a particular focus on equipping the Indigenous Church in Canada's north and also in facilitating a healing the land process in northern communities where government and church leaders are willing to unitedly welcome the process on behalf of the local communities where they live. Then on the other building adjacent to us here at 106 Main Street, that room will be largely used for the Niverville Prayer Center, a prayer center open and available to the whole community. To cover the tremendous needs of these communities as well as our own community, right here in Niverville, we believe we need a stronger spiritual covering, a prayer covering that will begin to bring together the different spheres of our community to pray for the well-being of the community, of the province, and of the nation as a whole. I have never yet run into one politician who turned down an offer for prayer. We all could use prayer, I believe. So we're so thankful to have several government leaders here today from both the local level here in Niverville, from the provincial level, and from the federal level as well. So to this end, we are establishing a prayer room at the Ministry Center, which will be open to the public during office hours and also at especially designated times as people come forward to give leadership to prayer times that have a special or particular focus. We would love to see the day when the prayer room would be open continuously. We want to pray for schools, we want to pray for our police officers, our municipal council, our churches, and our businesses. So this time I'm going to ask the Honorable Vic Taves to come and just bring us a word of greeting. Thank you, Vic, for coming. We're honored to have you with us.
Thank you, Roger. Again, my pleasure to be here today at this important announcement. I want to welcome, of course, the Mayor and the local MLA and the First Nations chiefs who are here. We're honored to have you present at this announcement. Roger Armbruster and his ministry and the work that he's been doing, I think, has demonstrated that this mission, this task, can be done from anywhere, provided that the right people are in place. And I think that Roger is the kind of leader, and working together with First Nations leadership, this is a perfect place to be centered. The Niverville to the world does not seem strange when you know the dedication of the people like Roger to this kind of project. So I want to wish you all the very best in this endeavor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Vic. And I'm going to ask now one of our First Nations leaders who we have worked with quite closely over the past several years, building bridges into the Native communities. We believe that from this center, there will be ministry that will go forth, particularly to First Nations here in Manitoba, as well as in Canada. I'm going to ask Pastor Raymond McLean to come and bring us a greeting. Raymond pastors the First Nations Family Worship Center in Winnipeg.
Thank you, Roger. It is an honor for us to be here and to represent our First Nations. I believe we had worked with Roger for the last 11 years, so I'm not a stranger to him, and I've met many of you. And it's always a privilege to have the encounters again, to meet different people. But I just want to quickly mention some of the things that are happening. As a First Nations people of this land, God has given us the key to unlock the destiny of the nation. We haven't realized this before until just recently, but for years, about 15 years, the Lord had really spoken to me about this kind of movement, and I didn't understand it many times. As an evangelist, I traveled many places and sharing this message that God was going to do something with the First Nations. And then until I met Roger, and then I started to see the vision really clearly about what God is about to do. And I don't say to as a boastful way, but to give God the glory. God had given us the key. And as I was praying this morning, I picked up this key from one of the shelves that I was given to by one of the ministries. I think it was Irvin and Dolly some time ago. And it has the scripture, Isaiah 22:22, where David was given the authority to unlock the things for his country, for the land of Israel. And so I believe when God divided the land to the people in the book of Genesis, he divided the lands to different nations. And these different nations were given this responsibility in different regions. And for North America, this responsibility was given to the First Nations. And, you got to pray for them that they will awake to this realization that there's something that they have that we need to send a message to them, that, to begin to arise and wake up. You got something in your hand that you need to do to mold this destiny. And Roger has recognized that, and many of you have recognized it. And we are so privileged to have this recognition from even from communities like this. Our church in Winnipeg has we are used to call it an independent church, but I don't like the word independent because it makes you a lone ranger. So we have come up with another word, and that word is interdependent. That means I need you, I need this, and I need that one. So we have connected ourselves with about seven or eight churches in the city of Winnipeg. And these are white churches, by the way. And they have recognized and they have prayed for us, and so that God would use us, to bring about this movement of God that's taking place in our land right now, to unlock the destiny of this nation. And once again, I thank you for recognizing us and endorsing us and embracing us and loving us. And I know that God will bless you richly for that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Raymond. We're expecting to see the doors open for the Healing the Land process into the First Nations here in Manitoba, starting this coming year, just like we've seen this process start in Nunavut. You notice the Nunavut flag over here. That's because a major focus of our ministry has been on the far north among the Inuit. And there's some amazing stories to tell. You can see some video clips inside afterwards. But thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that. And I'm going to ask our mayor to come now, Mayor Greg Fair, to bring a greeting. And he'll be followed by our member of the Legislative Assembly, Kelvin Gertson, please.